Hello everybody and to this video. In this one we're going to review and discuss the newest entry in the Hatchetfield saga, Nerdy Prudes Must Die. I just released my first video on Starkid and Hatchetfield, where I talked about the lore and the timeline of Hatchetfield, and it was received quite positively. Thank you very much. I had a lot of fun making it, so I'm going to continue with videos about Starkid and Hatchetfield, and I hope I can improve. So this next one is going to be about Nerdy Prudes. Starkid's run of Nerdy Prudes just ended. It lasted 2 weeks, and I was able to watch the digital ticket. I don't think it's available anymore, but the show is going to be free on YouTube in a few months. It's inevitable for us. So this video is going to be split into 2 parts.
I'm split in 2!
In the first one, I'm going to give a small review on Nerdy Prudes. It's going to be spoiler free. And then in the second part, I'm going to talk about some of the lore implications.
Promise me you'll think about the implications!
Okay.
And revelations that Nerdy Prudes gave us. What this video is not going to be about is a detailed explanation of what happens in Nerdy Prudes. I'm not going to talk about every character, every story beat. If you like to... that you should really experience the whole thing for yourself. If you have watched Nerdy Prudes already, I suggest watching the second part. If you haven't, just watch the first one maybe. So Nerdy Prudes, there's not much I can say except for if you like Starkid, if you like Hatchetfield, you're going to enjoy Nerdy Prudes. Everything that you experience in the other Hatchetfield shows, you're going to experience in Nerdy Prudes, if not in some aspects even better. The lighting by the Lang brothers, Nick and Matt, is again exceptional. The cast is great. Jeff Blim's music, I think he outdid himself.
Well, thank you. You're welcome!
Again, there are some songs that I would definitely put in my top 5 list of Hatchetfield songs. Now you might ask yourself or me where I would rank Nerdy Prudes compared to the other 2 Hatchetfield musicals. But I'm not going to do that because they're all great in their own way. What I'm going to say is that I feel like Nerdy Prudes is going to be the most accessible one for a general audience. The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals was a great start point for Hatchetfield, but I feel like some of the humor and some aspects are not really, they might be off-putting. And Black Friday relies very much on having watched The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, and Nerdy Prudes doesn't, but is still, in terms of the story and the humor, very accessible for a general audience, like I said. That also means that it's not necessarily important to have watched other Hatchetfield shows by Starkid. It definitely stands for its own. Now, I would definitely recommend watching at least the musicals. It just elevates it on another level. The enjoyment is definitely going to be a little enhanced if you know some of the Easter eggs and implications that appear in Nerdy Prudes, but it's not mandatory. In Black Friday, there were some moments where characters appeared or things were revealed where you are definitely confused if you haven't watched The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, and that will not happen as much in Nerdy Prudes. If you're going to watch one Nightmare episode for this, I strongly suggest watching Abstinence Camp. Because in Abstinence Camp, you get introduced to the 3 main characters in Nerdy Prudes, the 3 nerds Steph, Grace, and Peter. So that's all I'm going to say in terms of review. If you clicked on this video, you're going to be interested in Starkid and Hatchetfield anyway. Go watch the show. It's great. Now let's talk about some of the lore revelations that happened in Nerdy Prudes. So there are a few things. First of all, I have to talk about the scene where the 5 Lords in Black appear.
Welcome to Drowsy Town.
If you haven't watched the show and still want to, I don't know, get some spoilers, here they are. To save themselves, Grace, Steph, and Peter have to summon the Lords in Black, and they have to ask them for help. And the Lords in Black appear in a sort of human form. Of course, this is not their real form. Their real form is not fathomable for humans. They are aliens or from another dimension. But in Nerdy Prudes, they appear as humans to be able to speak to the nerds. And the costumes were amazing. They really fit the characters quite well. The way they were characterized by the actors was amazing. The song was wild for fans. That scene is huge. Now let's talk about some more lore revelations. So we get to meet the mayor of Hatchetfield, Steph's father, Mayor Lauder, a little bit more, who reveals that he has been in possession of the Black Book since he was elected to be the mayor. So that's 15 years. So if Nerdy Prudes takes place in 2023, then he has been in possession since 2008, and he seems to have used it before. He knows about spells, he knows about the Lords in Black, so I think he might have used it in order to gain power early on in his career. But by the time Nerdy Prudes takes place, he has buried the book in the Witchwood Forest. And this is where the nerds dig it up, and eventually they flee, and Grace reads in this black book that there are 5 altars in, is that how you say it? Altars? I don't know. In Hatchetfield, and she reads out loud that there's one in, of course,
At the old Starlight Theater in downtown Hatchetfield,
where Pokey is summoned, where the meteor in the Guardian Like musicals hits Hatchetfield. So I think maybe Pokey was summoned there by someone. Probably Wilbur Cross.
Ahoy there, boys and girls!
And there's also one in the Hatchetfield Mall, where Wiggly is summoned.
I love you.
So that's 2 of them, and I feel like each altar is there for one Lord in Black. We know that Nibbly is summoned at least once a year by the Church of the Starry Children in a cottage in the Witchwood Forest, so another altar might be placed there. We know that Blinky mainly inhabits an amusement park, maybe an altar is there, and then Tinky first appears in the offices of CCRP, I believe, so there might be an altar in there. Would make sense because CCRP in some way try to harness the powers of the Lords in Black, so that would make sense. We also now know who the leaders of the Church of the Starry Children are. It's the Waylands. Now the Waylands are, Mayor Lauder says, very influential, and they basically control the whole town, probably because of their connections to the Black Book. They even put a spell on their own house where if you die in this house, you become a ghost. So that's how Max Jaegerman in Nerdy Prudes becomes a ghost and haunts the nerds. And it's heavily implied that the same thing happened to the Waylands and maybe some of the other members of the Church of the Starry Children as well. But we don't really know much more about that. Now the Waylands were also killed in the attack by the Hatchetmen in 1945. These are some lore revelations. I'm just going to talk about some of the things I really enjoyed about Nerdy Prudes. That would be spoiler territory. Like I said, I really enjoyed the appearance of the Lords in Black. Some of the lines were that were references to other shows or other stories were really amazing. Like Tinky in that scene, for example, says, "Ooh, another Spankowski, another toy for my toy box," or something. That was fun. Gotta love these Easter eggs. The appearance of Boy Jerry and Girl Jerry was also really fun, as well as Dan and Donna in the same song. And I love this kind of stuff because anybody who doesn't know these characters, they're not confused by it, but everybody who does know, they go like, okay, I see what they're doing. It connects the world a little better. And then there was also the appearance of Paul and Emma, which was fun to see, and another great callback to the guy who didn't like musicals, where Pete, of course, as the hot chocolate boy, first appeared and complained about his order not coming through because of his very low blood sugar. And of course, now 5 years later, we get to see the character again, and that was a nice reference where he said, "It feels like I've been waiting 5 years." Also, Grace Chastity was a great character. I really liked the twist at the end where she, of course, takes the book and goes, "Dirty dudes must pay. Pervy dudes must pay," I think it was. Of course, you can't end a Hatchetfield story on a happy end. There has to be some sort of doom involved. I would have been intrigued to see what Grace actually achieves with her new goal if she takes over the world like the Lords in Black did. But I feel like Grace now is becoming a sort of another main disciple of Lords in Black, which is fun. All in all, that's all I gotta say. There were, of course, some other details that I don't have in my mind right now. I was only able to watch it 1.5 times. But there were so many great moments. I enjoyed it all around. I'm excited what they do next. I already talked about this, but this world has a lot more to offer. Yeah, like I said last time, if you have any video ideas, any topics you want me to discuss or anything like that, feel free to share your ideas, and then maybe we'll see each other in the next video. And until then, see ya!